talk about some sales, baby. When all about prospecting, I want you to know that it really does have to do with all of the numbers, knowing your numbers. So that's why, again, just to reiterate, you really have to make sure you watch module 1 before you go into this step, okay? Let's just say that you've watched it, and now we're gonna talk about sales. So the first type of sale, right, because this is all about communication, really, if we just take a second. A lot of what we're gonna be talking about is 2 things. Number 1, over the phone, and number 2, in person. Because sales and the art of communication is truly what is gonna drive your income almost more than anything. That's why we're gonna talk a lot about how to be masterful on the phone and face-to-face with a client. And the first thing I wanna talk about is professional partners. Professional partners, when broken down, is just simply somebody who knows you, likes you, trusts you, knows how to refer you business, very, very, very important. And 5th, and I tried to say most importantly, has referred you business in the past. Now, the reason why I stress that point number 5 so much is because it's great that they know you, like you, and trust you and know how to refer you business, but if they're not referring you business, you probably should ask why. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. So first and foremost, we're gonna talk about how to attract professional partners. Then we're gonna talk about how to nurture that relationship with a professional partner, how to ask for referrals with that professional partner, and specifically around that question, like I said, why they're not referring you, how to get more business from that person. Because it is a big part of my business, but professional partners drive a massive amount of income towards me, and I'll explain to you all of that as well when we dive into it. First and foremost, how do you attract professional partners? I want you to ignore a lot of the gurus out on the internet these days, because professional partners can truly be anybody. Anybody who, again, knows you, likes you, trusts you, right? Very, very important, which can be anybody in your sphere. Again, I have a lot of people who are in my sphere of influence, just friends, family, right? Who have referred me a lot of business and they become professional partners of mine, essentially, right? That's how I treat them. And number 4 is knows how to refer you business. When you're going out and you're going to be networking, right? Because I would make this a actual part of your business plan, which is 2 nights a week, 1 night a week, 3 nights a week, whatever it's going to be, or during the day or whatever it is. You are constantly putting yourself out there and networking with more people because you are one person away from changing your life. I remember I met one of my very first professional partners, ended up making me nearly $1 million within the first 12 months of us meeting. Now, don't get me wrong, I had no idea that I was going to end up making that kind of money with this person, but that's what ends up happening when you meet an unbelievable professional partner. Now, guess what? You can also have a professional partner who makes you 1 sale a year, 10 grand a year, right? 5 grand a year. That doesn't mean that you don't treat them just as well as you treat someone who makes you $1 million a year. Obviously, you treat the person who makes you $1 million maybe a little bit better, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that you're not going to pass over anybody, right? Because anybody can turn out being that, because I had no idea this person and I were going to do so much business together, and over my career, we've made millions together, which is incredible, right? I'm very grateful for these types of people in my life. And listen, these people fall in my life for a reason, because I'm putting myself out there. And that's a big part of what I want to urge you guys to be doing, which is you guys cannot be meeting people from behind a desk or from in your office or from in your house. It just does not make any sense, right? If you want to meet people, you need to be out and about, going and talking and meeting people face to face. I mean, this is where the magic happens. A majority of the people that I've met that I do a lot of business with, I've met honestly over the phone. And honestly, some of them I've never even met face to face. This is how crazy it is, right? The people that I meet face to face really drive a different level of experience, both very, very crucial to the growth of your business, because again, a piece that we're going to talk about is why referral business is the best business, period. End of story. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge cold caller. If you watch any of my content, you're going to see that. We're going to talk about cold calling at some point in this video. So make sure that, again, if that freaks you the heck out, I'm going to show you how by the end of this course, you could be a masterful cold caller and make a lot of money from doing it, okay? And again, I'm from somebody who's made over 1 million cold calls in my career, so I have a little bit of knowledge to explain. If you're getting massive value out of this video and you want to work with me personally, make sure you check out the first link in the description down below and schedule your free consultation with myself and my team. I want to wrap up this part first. So when it comes to professional partners, again, you want to put in your calendar. Number 2, you want to be cognizant of the amount of people you're meeting on a weekly basis. So it's like if you're going out and you're not adding people's contact information to a quote database, which can be as much as like, I don't care if it's your phone or I don't care if it's your spreadsheet or whatever it is, but you want to collect that information so that you can follow up with them and then meet them face to face and build up a relationship with them. So again, plan time in your calendar to go out each and every single week, making sure you're actually tracking the amount of people that you're adding into your systems. Number 3, how often then the follow-up process of now going from meeting face to face to then a actual relationship built, which I'll explain how that all works, because not only are you going to go from meeting them face to face or possibly over the phone, you'll understand in a little bit shortly. Contact information is received, right? You're going to try to then schedule a time to go meet them face to face for a coffee meeting, lunch meeting, dinner meeting, whatever may have you. Then what's going to happen is that during that period of time, you're going to go through the rapport building phase, the how do I help you phase. What would be the most supportive for you, right? You're going to try to bring them a massive amount of value first. So instead of like them instead of saying, hey, where's my referral? Where's my referral? Where's my referral? This is how you can help me me, help me. You're going to say, how can I support you? How can I do more for you? What value can I bring to you first and foremost? And you're going to actually play the game where it's like, listen, like you want to talk about yourself the least amount. Whoever talks about themselves the most typically loses in a relationship. So I want you to understand, for you to win in a relationship, you need to make sure that you talk about yourself the least. I'm not saying be selfish here, but I'm saying like this is how you do very well in relationships. Talk a little bit about yourself versus them, right? You want to be 90% listening, 10% talking. Okay, and you want to ask them questions, really important questions. Tell me why. Tell me more about that. Why did you end up doing this? Like, tell me more about why you chose this profession. You have to understand, like, I'm getting to genuinely understand them, their business, what they're about, what they enjoy, what they love, do they have kids, all of it, right? Like, you're gonna really genuinely want to get to know these people. These people can eventually become your friends. That's the whole purpose of this, right? Like, again, the people that I spend a lot of time with make me the most money. Interesting, right? So it's like, that's what I'm here to preface with you guys, because at the end of the day, if you spend no time networking, you will not have a network to work with. That's why I'm saying it's very important that you go out and network. Now, let's talk about it on the phones. Very similar principles apply. The best way to do it is to talk to one of your already existing professional partners, which can be, again, current client, past client, sphere of influence, whatever, okay, right? Your attorney, your lender, your title company, your inspectors, your contractors, your whoever. What I'm here to say to you is this, is that you speak to this individual and say like, hey, like, how can I support you, right? You're talking to them and just like, how can I support you? Tell me more about that. Tell me more about what you do. Why do you do what you do? All about them, okay? And then what are they naturally going to ask about you? How can I support you, right? Most of the time, and by the way, if they don't ask you that kind of question, it's like, just out of curiosity, would you be open to supporting my business? Yes, all right? That's a great turning point that you can have in a conversation. If you really think they're going to be a great professional partner and they haven't asked you how they can support you, say, hey, do you mind if I ask you a question? Yes. Would you be open to supporting my business? Yes. Okay, well, just because I want to be super clear, because I'm incredibly clear that you are looking for X, Y, and Z. Is it okay if I get into detail specifically about what would be most supportive for my business? Ask for permission. They would appreciate that, I promise, okay? You're not going to be like, so this is how you can refer me business. Now that you're, again, now you're speaking to one of your professional partners, so the open conversation is pretty easy. You can do that in person or over the phone, right? You're talking to them, because these are people you're going to be talking to anyways. So what I want to make sure that you guys understand is when you're having these professional partnership conversations, you want to make sure that the door is now open. You guys both know this is a two-way street. We're like, hey, like I'm gonna refer you to a lot of business, and I hope you're gonna be referring me a lot of business. Like that's the point of this. But most importantly, it's the referral that you ask for. It's like, hey, you're speaking to your friend John. John is a lender. I just want to say how much I appreciate you. I know that listen, I'm working on trying to find you some buyers. I can assure you that. John, can I ask you for a favor? Sure, of course, Henry. What can I do for you? Well, John, listen. Specifically, I'm looking for estate attorneys. Do you happen to know of anybody off the top of your head? No, I don't. Okay, no worries. So then, like, listen, because I'm looking for estate attorneys and divorce attorneys. Do you happen to know of anybody? And I'm going to be really direct about this, right? And listen, I'm really looking to increase my business. I do a lot of business with estate attorneys and divorce attorneys. Would you so happen to know somebody who's in that business that you might be able to give me their contact information? I just want to make sure I'd rather get a referral from a friend than randomly go online and call somebody. So you do that, right? You're going to call, and you can call 5 or 10 people if that's the type of referral you're looking for. I'm talking about professional partners specifically. I'm not talking about getting a referral in this moment, because that'll be something else we talk about. But this is about just driving professional partner relationships, because what happens is that now when you get introduced to that person, you're going to play the game the next time around, right? We're going to be like, get to know them. You're going to go through the rapport building phase, the motivation phase. How do they, how can you support them, and then you're going to do the same thing over and over and over again. Where like now I rinse, wash, repeat. Where every single week I'm adding dozens of people easily to my business because people are now referring me people, right? Because all I have to do is say like, hey, anytime you come across X, Y, and Z professional, can you please refer them to me, because I do a lot of business with them. I love an opportunity to support the people in your network. A lot of people know exactly what types of referrals are from me because I make it very, very simple for them. Anytime you meet somebody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, I'd like for you to think of me. Buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And most recently, I've always been like, listen, if you have somebody who's looking to invest in real estate, because I'm a huge proponent of investors, I do a lot of investment business. This is where a large majority of my income comes from, is investment real estate, like as an agent, right? Like brokering out a lot of investment deals. I will be very, very specific with all my professional partners saying, hey, when you meet somebody who's looking to invest in real estate, would you mind thinking of me? Yes, of course. I'm looking for somebody who's looking to invest either in their first or next investment property, typically between $100,000 up to $10 million typically, right? Like it depends on what you're trying to say, but that's, a lot of what I say typically. When I talk about this, like, and again, I specialize in whether it's single family, multifamily, commercial, or any type of real estate asset, whatever it is, you can rest assured that I know exactly what I'm doing and I can support them at the highest levels. Now, if you have somebody who's looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, whether it's a primary residence or commercial property, I can also support them in that. So again, anything to do with real estate, specifically around the investment world or luxury property, I am your guy, period. I like to be very, 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 very clear when I'm talking to a professional partner of how they can refer me. If you do that, because I think about what a lot of realtors do, they'll be like, well,
I'm looking for somebody who is looking to, buy a home and maybe sell a house That'd be great.
When you're just like, kind of maybe not confident, like you're not gonna wanna refer that person. But when you're confident, you practice your script, hey, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z type of properties. People who are looking to buy or sell X type of properties in these types of areas, I cover that kind of property. I say, anyone's looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate in anywhere in the state of New Jersey, I'm your guy. Anything real estate related in the state of New Jersey, I'm your guy. If you're looking for rentals, leases, or anything, whether it's commercial real estate or residential real estate, I can handle everything that you've got for me, period. And again, just to clarify, you said you're looking for X, Y, and Z. I will reiterate to everyone in my life. Everyone in my life knows me as the real estate guy. I want you to know that like a lot of you guys are gonna skip over this part because you know, again, some of you are like, I don't, you know, I already have people who know me, like you try. If they're not referring you business, they are not a professional partner. They could be on your like your quote target list, right? Like these are the people I'm going to target to be on my professional partner list one day. So when they refer you, they can actually be on your professional partners list. You're going to add them to your network and you're going to constantly build relationships with those people until they can be added to your professional partner list. But a lot of you go like, oh, I know a lot of people and they all know what I do for a living. Okay, well, are they referring you? And if the answer is no, you need to ask why. So here's a great question you can ask them. Hey, John, I know we've been friends for quite some time at this point. I just want to say I appreciate all the work you've been doing, and I know you did a great job for the people that I've referred to you. I'm hoping you've referred them business, because if you haven't referred them any business and you're wondering why they haven't referred you any business, maybe that's a good point. Okay, refer them some business first. But if you refer them a lot of business and they haven't referred you back, it's like, John, just want to say how much I appreciate you taking great care of Steve and Sally, whoever. It means a lot to me. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. And just to be clear, I told you at the very, very beginning that I was going to make sure I take care of you and I can refer you any person I possibly can, and I hope I'm doing a great job. Am I doing a good job for you so far? Yes, of course. Well, John, listen, I'm really curious as to, like, is it something that I said or did to you that caused you not to refer me any business? Guys, like, you have to be clear. Like, I'm just curious why you haven't referred me any business. Is that maybe you're not coming across anybody, or maybe I'm not clear enough in my communication as to what type of people might be a perfect fit for me. So it's like, I'm just curious. Like, you can be clear with me, John. If you had a deal that was coming along, do you happen to have anybody that you would refer at this time already besides me? Ask them. Be blunt. Like, hey, do you happen to have somebody else that you might refer business to? Because by the way, if their brother or sister, or aunt, uncle, cousin, whoever, who they're very close with is also a real estate agent, what do you think the odds of you getting that referral is? Probably not high. So this is why I just want to be very clear with you, is that first and foremost, if you're not referring your professional partners, they're probably not going to refer you. But secondly, be very clear with your professional partners and ask them, like, hey, I'm just curious. Like, do you happen to have somebody that you refer business to already? Yes. Who is that? Well, it's my mom. My mom's a real estate agent. You're probably not going to get a lot of business from that person, possibly. Or you could say the following. Okay, I can appreciate your mom's a real estate agent. Just curious. Like, would you be open to working with other professionals? Or is it just like maybe it's a waste of my time? Because listen, the last thing I'm going to want to do, look at our relationship like we have a 20-year plan together to do a lot of business together, help and support a lot of clients, and then all of a sudden you're not referring me any business and I'm referring you a ton of business. I just want to make sure we're really clear up front about the expectations. I just like transparency, right? Because my plan is to refer you as many people as I possibly can, and at the end of the day, if I'm not getting any referrals, then I'm just going to be curious as to what's going on, and I don't think that's fair, because there's probably maybe other people who might refer me, people who would appreciate that, right? So that kind of transparency is very much appreciated. And he's like, listen, I like to be super loyal. I don't want to work with a lot of different people, right? I want to work with like a select group of professionals who do a fantastic job for my clients, and I do a great job for theirs, right? Like, that is the epitome of what I'm looking forward to doing, and if that doesn't work for you, I can understand that. Who have you heard ever say that to your face? I mean, like, I would appreciate someone being very clear with me. I already have somebody, and like, I'm probably not going to refer any business. I appreciate that. It doesn't say anything about who you are as a person by not referring somebody, but it's very well professionally said. So now, in regards to professional partnerships, I hope that kind of clears things up, but also, again, I just want to make sure that, again, relating back to the very first step, track your metrics, guys. Make sure you're tracking how many people you have today, how many people you're in contact every single week with, and how many times you ask for referrals, how many people you've added to your list to this week. These are things that are very, very important. Like, because by the way, if you're not referring out a lot of business, you're probably not going to get a lot of referral business. Just make sure you're paying attention to that kind of shift, because it's going to be very, very important to pay attention to. Next, we're going to talk about current clients and past clients, how to work with them, how to get a lot more business from them. Because when you're working with a current client, any client period, you should be able to get at least one deal with them, not only during the process, but then one again afterwards each year, every year. If you just got one deal from every past client that you have every year for the rest of your career, you probably wouldn't have to work so hard for business, right? Does that make sense? What's interesting is that, like, listen, like, I've sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of transactions over my career, and what's fascinating is that every year I actually get obviously sent more referrals, which is very interesting. And it comes because I do a great job with my clients, and then I do repeat business with them. And now what ends up happening is that a lot of my current clients are repeat business all the time, because I do a lot of investor business, right? It's the niche that I wanted to focus in on. So I do a lot of investor business. I enjoy it a lot, and they speak my language. We enjoy each other's company because we speak the same language, kind of. That being said, now my past clients are my current clients, and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, where it's like I would do do a lot of business with the same, 10, 20 people or so, and I don't have to go out and hunt for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients to work with each and every single day, because I've done that for years in the real estate business on the residential side, and I've realized that like if I just focus on a few key clients, I can make a lot of money. Now don't get me wrong, I still do a lot of residential sales each and every single year too. However, I've realized that like the type of business and niche like we talked about from the vision casting that I wanted to focus in on is investor business. A lot of what I do now is like it's very different than a conventional type of real estate practice, because what you're doing in a conventional real estate practice, you're looking for so many new opportunities, right? Like of people who are looking to sell their properties. Then you're going to put it on the market and you're going to hope and pray somebody else brings a buyer to you, right? I mean, that's like the kind of the typical real estate practice, okay? Most scenarios in the investment side, I'm looking for a lot of sellers that are looking to sell their properties for as low as possible, because I have investors who are like the buyers already lined up and I can double end every single deal, which again, we're going to talk about money and all that kind of stuff later on in this course, but it's a very different dynamic, which is why like this allows me to work with a select group of repeat clients over and over and over and over again, where like I have some people I do like a dozen or 2 dozen transactions with every single year. I mean, imagine doing 20 deals a year with one person. How many people do you need to work with to make a lot of money? Especially when your commission check is $25,000 to $50,000 a check. If that's the case, how many people do you really have to work with? This is what I'm trying to tell you. I only work with between 10 and 20 people majority of the time on the investment side of my business, not resi, but like on the investment side of my business, which involves residential and commercial deals, I work with about 20 total people, end up driving a large majority of my income. So on the residential side, when it comes to past clients and current clients, I want to talk about specifically the process around it. So how do you get more referrals from your current clients? Let's talk about this first. Number one, if you're probably thinking about this, you obviously want to do a fantastic job for them. What does that look like? You're going to want to have an entire process. When do you bring up that you're going to be asking for referrals? Well, first and foremost, let's talk about this. It's going to be during the pre-qualification call, where like before you even get into working with this client too far, you're going to say like, listen, when and only when I do a fantastic job for you, like a 10 out of 10 service, is it okay if I ask for a possible referral? Someone who's looking to do the exact same thing you are, which is either buy, sell, invest in real estate, or whatever it is, right? Like you're just going to repeat back to them. Hey, John, just to be super clear, I know you're looking to sell your home and buy your next one down in South Jersey as an example. Just to be super clear, John, when and only when I do a fantastic and unbelievable job for you, is it okay that I ask for a referral? Someone who you know, like, and trust, who's looking to do the exact same thing you are, which is sell a home possibly in and around the area, someone that you know who's looking to sell a property in New Jersey. Is that okay if I ask for that? Yes. Okay, fantastic. And by the way, they're never going to say no. So stop worrying about them saying no. It doesn't really matter, but you're asking for permission to ask. When and only when I do a fantastic job. Is it okay if I ask for a referral? Yes, of course. Okay, great. Well, then guess what? During the process, you want to make sure you do a fantastic job and say, John, how am I doing for you? Doing great. Okay, great. Like, listen, I told you I was only going to ask if I was doing a great or fantastic job for you. If I was going to ask for a referral only when I'm doing a great job for you. Who do you know who's looking to sell a piece of property sometime within the next 3, 6 months, or 12 months? Maybe their kids are about to graduate high school. Maybe they're looking to move school districts. Maybe their kids are actually, the house is a little bit too small. Like, who do you know who's looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate? Whatever it is, right? Whatever their specific thing is. And you just want to repeat it back to them. Like, oh, actually, I don't really know something. Well, John, listen. Can I count on you for one fantastic referral within the next 30 days? Can I count on you for that? Yeah, absolutely, Henry, no problem. Right, like these are very simple things you can be doing, and you're gonna constantly be repeating this type of stuff over and over again throughout the process, when and only when you're doing a fantastic job for them. So you say, how is my team and I doing for you? Or how am I doing for you so far? Ask them a question. Terrible. I'm having a terrible experience. Okay, well, we need to know why. Because it's not okay that you're doing a terrible job, right? Like, can I ask you why do you feel that way? And by the way, and like I've had some clients say, like, honestly, like I'm not having a good experience. Well, my attorney who they selected is not doing a great job and it's really frustrating me. Okay, no problem. Well, listen, I hear you 100%. And I feel terrible that's going on. I'm gonna take 100% responsibility. I'm gonna call your attorney, make sure they get on things, okay? Yeah, no problem, cool. Right, like, you understand what I'm saying? Take charge, take initiative, right? Like that type of stuff is what people are looking for. So you're gonna set the precedence up front. You're gonna make sure you ask during the process at least 2 or 3 times, when and only when you do a fantastic job. Number 3, be a problem solver. And whatever they can and will need, you need to make sure you're there to support them. So you're gonna wanna make sure you have a lot of connections that you can hook them up with, which is like contractors, contractors they might need, inspectors, attorneys, whatever, everything they're going to need throughout the entire process. You're going to want to make sure you have that in your back pocket, ready to go. On top of that, what you're going to make sure that you do is that throughout the entire process, you're going to constantly be asking yourself, and again, we're going to talk about this in the systems, but how can I improve this process, right? How can I do a better job for my client today, this week, this month, this year? You're going to constantly be asking yourself these things. You can even ask your clients out at the end of the closing. It's like, how did my team and I do for you? Fantastic, great. Can I ask you just a quick favor and ask them for another referral? And you can even say, like, can I just ask you a favor? What did you like best about working with my team and I, right? Like, what is the best best thing, the thing that stood out the most for about working with my team and I? Ask these types of questions, get some feedback, right? Like you want to really work with them. It's like just curious. Like if you happen to come across someone who's looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate, who do you plan on referring? Well, I would refer you. I appreciate that so very much that you entrust your friends and family and people in your life to me. That would mean the world to me. This is a very candid conversation and you want it to be genuine, right? You want it to be genuine, but you also don't want to not ask. Because if you don't ask, there's going to be some schmuck that they're going to work with who's probably going to ask, right? So it's like you either can make sure that you're the person who is asking and does a fantastic job who's probably going to get the referral, or some random person who doesn't deserve it is going to ask and they're going to get it. I mean, it's just that simple because you want to be top of mind. Now that they have had a great experience as a current client, they're going to become a past client. How often do you keep in touch with your past clients? It's very important that what I do is I do it on every holiday. It's the easiest thing for me. So I do it on the biggest holidays possible. So typically July 4th and New Year's, and it's around the holidays. So 2 times a year, I will send out a video message or a text message to a lot of my favorite past clients, a couple hundred of them every single holiday that I can, right? And I'll try to do their birthdays as much as I can as well, house anniversaries, things that I have noted down on their house sales, right? So very, very simplistic process to make sure you stay top of mind, be in front of them all the time. And my favorite thing is a big reason why I do social media the way I do is that I add my clients on social media so they can follow my journey, and it's a way for me to follow up. And a lot of people love my content, right? I love my content. Like, hey, I loved your video, man. It was awesome. I'm like, oh, thank you so much, right? Like it's a cool thing, and it's another reason why I do my content. So stay top of mind. You want to be in touch with your clients as often as possible. You maybe want to add them to an email list. You can even add them to a drip campaign. Like, hey, would you be open to me adding you to a campaign where this way you're up to date with the exact value of your home throughout the next few years? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Sounds good. And basically, you're just going to drip on them all the closed sales, active sales, pending sales around their house, right? If it's a commercial buyer who just bought something, bought a commercial piece of property, you can do the exact same thing. Hey, is it okay if I send you a campaign of all the properties that are going on the market, under contract, and sold around your property? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. I want to know the value of my properties. I can send you market reports, once a month or so. Are you open to that? Yeah, of course. I mean, guys, that keep them in your ecosystem. And hard enough to get them. It's hard enough to keep them. Now that you close a transaction, you just let them disappear. It doesn't make any sense. Do you know that less than 11% of people actually use the same realtor year over year in the residential world? And for commercial, if you never keep in touch with them, I guarantee you, because they typically will hold the property for quite some time, like it's very rare for people to use their own, the same realtor again, which is not okay. And a really quick note, we talked about professional partners, we talked about current clients, we talked about past clients a little bit. What I want you to know here is that if you can just master those 3 things and do a really, really good job for those 3 things, your referral business will be through the freaking roof. And now I want to talk about quickly on cold calling, because a lot of people are genuinely interested in it. A lot of people do it, and a lot of people don't do it, depending on what bucket you're in. Just to kind of give you an idea, I've made over 1 million cold calls in my career. And I want you to know that of the calls that I've made, it has driven an unprecedented amount of income into my pocket. Not only have I made a lot of money from cold calling, but it's a very powerful, unique tool that if you can master, you'll never go hungry ever again in any type of market. It just doesn't matter. You'll have a much easier time earning money in any market when you master cold calling. And I'll explain it to you this way. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of professional partnerships. I have a lot of them. I get a lot of referral business, and I will never stop doing that. And I believe that cold calling is a pivotal piece of any type of real estate business, because in the real estate world, whether you're calling on the residential side, expired cancels for sale by owners and all that chat, right, or circle prospecting, or the commercial side where you're circle prospecting different types of properties, right, or calling for rent by owners or for sale by owners, right? Either way, that type of cold calling is going to be the fact of you controlling the lead flow of your business, because there's only so many ways to generate leads. Let's just take referrals off the table. If you didn't ask for a referral, how would you do it? Well, you only really got a couple options. You can either, do some prospecting, or you can pay for it, which means that it's going to be paid for prospecting, which we can talk about for a quick second, which is Facebook ads, billboards, this ad, that ad. The point is that you've paid for the advertising to be done and the prospecting to be done for you, or you do the prospecting. I mean, that's what cold calling is. You doing the prospecting versus you paying for the prospecting. So both are fine. And I'm not telling you not to do one or the other. I am saying that both are fine, but I would become very, very, very good at cold prospecting, because what it allows you to do is that any market, any time of year, no matter what, you will always be able to find more leads. But people who are just paying money for leads, guess what? When the market dips, the leads are going to dip. When the market's not so great, the leads are going to go down. But when you're a master on the phone, it's like, even when the market's not so good, you're going to be so good on the phone, you're still going to be able to convert, right? Yes, the percentages might go down as well, but the problem is that when you're relying on just money and leads to call you instead of for you to call them, you're going to be in a very different mindset where I'm not worried about ever having no leads, because it doesn't matter. I can get more leads today if I wanted to. I know how to go out and generate business tomorrow if I needed it. And that is a skill set. We're around mastering communication, where we're going to understand scripting, which, by the way, I have the best ever script book, like I promised you in the webinar, down below, so make sure you check that out. The point of it is that if you don't master your scripting, it will be very, very difficult for you to master cold calling. So when it comes to cold calling, a couple quick points. Number one, you have to make more calls than you think you need to. So if your first goal is to have 10 conversations a day, shoot for 20. If you're thinking you're gonna have 20 conversations a day, shoot for 40 a day. Have more conversations and make more calls than you think you need to, because I assure you it will always pay off. I always make the joke with all my coaching students, hey, I dare you to make twice the amount of phone calls, have twice the amount of conversations, and get twice the amount of leads and do less business. It's just impossible, right? But everyone goes like, well, I just want to make, well, I don't know why I'm not getting more leads. Make more phone calls, right? And or the second side of that coin is get better at your scripting, right? Practice, 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 practice. Practice makes permanent. When you practice very, very well and you role play your conversations, right? Like, which means you're just going to read your script and read your script over and over and over again, even if it's just to a wall. I remember I would read my script out to a wall all the time and I just read it and read it and read it so I can memorize my entire script, where I can do every script possible that you see in there. That is literally verbatim what I say without a script in front of me. I literally just say the same thing every single time because it is ingrained in my head. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, literally over 1 million times at this point. And that's why I'm very good at it. And that's why I'm trying to say you have to start practicing ASAP. Number one, make more calls than you think you need to. Number two, practice makes permanent. So make sure you practice your scripts and get good at your scripting. And number three, any part of your script that I get good at, I'll be good at two pieces of it. Number one, your opening line. And number two, your close. There's really only so many parts to a script, because you have like the opening line, which needs to be a powerful hook, which I would practice your opening line and the way you smile and your enthusiasm and like how excited you are on the phone, because that drives how, how the beginning part of the call is going to go. It's going to drive a lot. Next part about it is asking questions, right? Like rapport building, right? You're going to be building rapport, asking questions. What's going on in the situation here? What's their game plan? What's their motivation? Why are they selling? At what price would they sell for? Understanding the situation, the details, and then closing. It's only 3 parts. There's only 3 freaking parts to a cold call. And obviously I even believe there's the before the cold call, which is like the mindset that's going into making that call. You really call it 4 parts. There's the prior, and then there's the during the call. And you have to memorize, like, do really, really good on the opening and the closing, and you really can't screw up asking questions. Just read the scripts, guys. Read the script and just practice at getting good at your scripting. Would an afternoon or even be better for you? I've used that script a gajillion times, but I want to set an appointment. It works almost without a shadow of a doubt. Just say it out loud, and just like whether you say it with confidence or not, like,
would you does an afternoon or an evening work better for you?
I guarantee you they're still going to say something like an afternoon. Maybe probably works better for me. It doesn't matter how you say it. The point is say it. I just would recommend, obviously, getting better at it and sounding confident when you say it. Does an afternoon or evening work better for you? Guys, I mean, like, it's really, really simple, right? Just practice, practice, practice. You're going to get it, I promise. So, got your before, you got your mindset, how you're going to basically show up on that cold call. Now you're going to have the amazing hook opening line number, and then you're going to go into the rapport building, asking questions, and then you're going to go into your closing statement, okay? Easy to the point where, like, you're just going to be able to set a ton of appointments. The more calls you make, the better you're going to do. Promise you. That's on the cold calling side. We just drilled on that. Oh, I understand something really quick. When it comes to cold calling, residential, yes, you can call circle prospecting expired, canceled, for sale by owners. Of that majority, I've done them all. You can use all the scripts that I have in the script book. They will all handle everything you have there. There's an objection handling script book as well, so you can go through that as well. So you're going to have everything you could possibly need, whether it's residential or commercial. Everything's there. What I am here to stress for you, though, is, again, I'm telling you right now, if you only make 10 calls a day or 10 conversations a day, you're not going to hit your numbers, period. When it comes to cold calling, you need to set aside the minimum of 2 to 3 hours a day every single day. If you are not negotiating a deal or face-to-face with somebody at this present moment, you should be prospecting. So lastly, let's talk about paid leads, okay? I'm not somebody who spends a lot of money on Facebook ads or, postcards or billboards. I've done all of it. I'm not a fan of all of it. Now, I will tell you this. This is not a course preaching paid advertising campaigns like social media ads and all that kind of stuff. Not at all. That's not who I am. I'm a relationship guy. I'm a salesman. I'm proud of it. If you want to understand more about where the paid advertising world is, right? Like, what I would tell you to do is this. For paid ads, I'd recommend you do something like this. If you do not have enough money right now to pay for 12 to 24 months of that paid advertising, don't do it, because it's not going to work month 1. The odds of you doing 1 month of advertising and getting a massive level of return from it and closing a deal is rare, slim to none. So I recommend that you do it over a period of time, typically between 6 and 12 months. Now, I'm not saying you don't tweak advertising and make things better, but I'm just saying any type of advertising, if you're going to do postcards, if you're going to do a billboard, any type of advertising, even Zillow, Realtor, or any of these other types of websites, do it for a period of time. Commit to it for a period of time, right? Because I'm telling you, it's not going to work out right away. If you don't want to make cold calls, but you're like, I'll pay money so that leads come to me, great. But you're still going to have to get on the phone with them eventually, right? Like, it's not like you're not going to ever have to speak to them, or be face to face. So you have to memorize scripts anyways. You have to convert those leads at some point anyways. Like, you're not going to just all of a sudden get money from people who inquire. They're going to call you from the advertisement, and then you're going to have to convert them into an appointment. So no matter what, whether you're calling them or they're calling you, you're still going to have to be good at your scripts. So at the end of the day, you're actually like, oh, I don't want to make cold calls. I'd rather like do Facebook ads. It's the same thing, actually. The only difference is that they're calling you and you're paying for them to call you. So even when it's a terrible lead, right, you're paying for it. Instead of you getting really good at the script, right? Because if you going out and hunting for the business yourself, prospecting areas you want to prospect, right? Like, I'm just a huge proponent of cold calling versus paid advertising, but essentially it's the same thing. That's why I'm just trying to stress to you, if you just get good at your scripts, it won't matter. I don't care if you do paid ads or cold calling, you got to get good at your scripts, which is why, again, check out the script book. You're going to love it, promise. When it comes to paid advertising, again, rule of thumb number one, if you don't have 24 months, do not spend the money. It's just not going to make any sense, okay? I'd say even at a bare minimum, I'm not saying, so 24 months in your bank account, and I would try to do something for a minimum of 6 months. Because if it doesn't work after 6 months, unless you're like doing something horribly wrong, there's probably a conversion issue more than anything, and then convert the leads that you've already got so that you can go back and do it again. Because again, it's mostly going to be a conversion issue, period, across both sides here, whether it's paid or effort-based. You know, you're going to have to make sure your conversion ratio is high first, or at least high enough where you can have a return on investment. So 24 months, master your scripts and understand that it's all about conversion. And last but not least, when it comes to paid advertising, I just want to stress to you something. A big part of cost in the real estate business is marketing. So if you're spending thousands of dollars a month on paid advertising, that $1,000 could be also spent doubling down on professional partners, relationships, bettering your service and hiring another assistant, right? Or a part-time assistant so you can have better service to your clients. Because if you have a better service to your clients and professional partners, don't you think you're gonna get more referrals? I mean, like, so like if you really break things down for a second, if you can get 30 referrals a month and 100 cold calls a month, let's say that you're gonna convert those 30 cold calls at a 30% ratio, that means you're gonna close 9 deals. If you got 100 cold call leads, you're probably gonna close 3. So that means at 100, that's a 3% ratio in cold calling or paid advertising, same thing. You've got 100 cold leads in some fashion, whether it's paid or effort-based, right? Like, you're gonna get a 3% return on closed deals, right? So 100 leads is 100 leads. So what I'm here to stress to you is that it's actually more important about the referrals, guys. It's more important about the referrals. So at the end of the day, I would rather spend the money that you're gonna pay on paid advertising and just throw it back into how you treat your professional partners, how you treat your clients. That's what's most important, because that will drive a higher ROI at the end of the day. Because again, the conversion ratio is like 10 times as much from a warm referral lead versus a cold lead, right? It's just, it's quick math. In order to be rich, you actually just need more referrals. Ideally, the goal is more referrals. Obviously, need more leads in general, right? But if you can get more, if you can choose more cold leads or more referrals, probably which one are you going to choose? Probably more referrals, right? So, and everyone always dreams of having a lot of referrals each and every single month, because then you don't have to prospect or really work so hard. Exactly what I've been able to do. Last thing I'm going to quickly talk about when it comes to sales, a third of your day should be spent on prospecting. A third of your day should be spent on follow-up. A third of your day should be spent on service. A third of your day is spent prospecting business in general. So a third of your day, call it, if you're going to work 6 hours today, 2 hours that day is going to be spent on new business, new prospecting business, okay? Now, I'm not saying warm or cold. I'm saying both. New deals, okay? Number 2, that second third, that next 2 hours is going to be on follow-up. There's a bell curve that I've taught a lot of my coaching students, which basically is explained like this. There's going to come a point where you have to do more follow-up than you do regular prospecting or outward new leads, right? And obviously, I'm not saying I prospect a lot, but I prospect a lot less than I used to because I didn't have a lot of leads in the past, right? Now I have nearly 50,000 leads in my database. 50,000 leads, I just got to convert a few every single year, right? Like, if I can convert 1% of 50,000 leads, it's 500 deals, right? So now I'm not closing 500 deals a year, right? I don't need to do it. If I close 500 deals a year right now, I'd make $20 million. What I'm trying to explain to you is that, like, I don't need a ton more leads each and every single year. I need new leads because I always have to be prospecting for new leads, but I need to convert on what I already have because I've been generating leads for so freaking long. Right now I have systems that do it endlessly. That's my point. So it's, again, like, you're going to kind of get to a point where you go from making a lot of new prospecting stuff to having to do less new prospecting and more follow-up. Understand where you are on that bell curve, and by the way, it kind of starts flipping at around 500-ish leads in your database. So once you have about 500 leads, you should probably be doing 50% of your day is new leads and 50% of your day is follow-up. Okay, once you're if you're below 500, I probably spent, run it back to like 80-20 at the very beginning. If you had like 100 leads in the account, you should probably have like 90% of your day should be on new prospecting, and then like 10-20% on follow-up, and then it'll slowly bell curve out, if that makes sense. So we're gonna break down your day into a third, okay? The first third is all about lead generation. So that's lead gen and follow-up. The next third is all about appointments and working with clients. And the last part of that is CEO time. And I'm gonna explain to you exactly what these three mean. Your first few hours a day, which again, it doesn't have to be exactly a third, but I'm telling you to like be as close as possible to that, because that's about where I'm at right now, where a third of my day is spent on prospecting, whether that's new leads and or follow-up. The next part of my day is spent on meeting with clients or spending a lot of time with my professional partners and or people that I'm working with, like my past clients, current clients. I do a lot of repeat business. So I'm meeting a lot of people face to face or having long conversations with them and trying to plan out the next part of the next quarter. What we're like professional partners. I love talking about like our goals together. And then the last piece of this is now it's going to be service and CEO time. So service is going to be servicing your team, making sure the culture of the team is doing really, really well, which by the way, if you're just a solo agent, making sure your processes are running very, very well and tracking all your analytics and going through your metrics, as well as like your clients, making sure they're having a fantastic experience, making sure they're doing everything well, the way that they're supposed to be doing it, making sure that everything is running very smoothly and figuring out how you can improve each and every single week, each and every single month, and every quarter, every year, because you're going to try to put yourself out of business before your competition can put you out of business. That's why I'm saying you need to be constantly improving your processes constantly over and over and over again. This is what CEO time is so freaking important for. And if you're wondering how on planet Earth am I going to find the time to track my stuff, I'm literally telling you it's more important than not checking emails or running comps. It's more, and everyone does that. It's more important than that kind of stuff, right? Track your data, track your data, track your data. The next part about this module is going to be all about follow-up, because what I feel like a lot of people do is that they get the prospecting down, or at least they start to do so. They start to generate some leads, whether that's from referrals or cold leads. What ends up happening is that they just fall short when it comes to follow-up. And 80% of every sale is done after the 5th contact. When an average realtor makes less than 2 calls to that lead, that means they're missing out on like 90% of all the sales. If you're not gonna do the follow-up, there's actually no point of doing the initial calls, because you're only average conversion rate of average 2% of all sales are done in the very first contact. 2% of all sales. So that means 2% of all your sales are actually gonna be done on the very first time you speak to somebody. That's insane to think about. That's why I'm saying it's very, very crucial that you pay attention to the fact that like, okay, if you like to make a lot more money, then you need to be focusing a lot of time on not only your new prospecting, but specifically your follow-up. So let's talk about the process around it. Breaking down exactly how to enhance your follow-up. Number one, increase the amount of time you're doing. Obviously this sounds pretty simple, but I'm saying instead of taking 2 hours and just doing new leads, I'm saying take 30 minutes to prospect new leads and take an hour and a half of doing follow-up. We've talked about that bell curve. It's very, very crucial that you enhance the amount of time you spend on the follow-up and less on the new leads. Like, I mean, like, listen, I'm not saying don't stop doing new leads, but enhance the amount of time you're doing your follow-up and you can come down on the new lead prospecting. I promise you it will pay off tenfold. Point number two, you want to make sure that you're focusing a large percentage of that follow-up time on your past clients and your current clients, as well as your professional partners. Those 3 people are people you have to follow up with just like normal leads. Those past clients, current clients, and professional partnerships are hard enough to create, like, and get those leads that you generated and that you closed those deals and those relationships that you built. It's hard enough to get that. And then you just let it go by the wayside? No, that doesn't make any sense. A large portion of follow-up each week, I'm not saying every day, should be spent on connecting with your past clients, current clients, and your professional partners. So what we do is that we have 2 days a week that we specialize in this. 1 day a week, you're gonna make sure you specialize and spend a large majority of that day connecting with your professional partners. And then 1 day a week, you're gonna spend on your current clients and some past clients. And the easiest way to do it is like, listen, a lot of you guys are not gonna have 70 current clients, so you can do both in 1 day. And I'll explain, is you can do all your current clients in a day, where it's like, all you're gonna do is you're gonna touch base with all your current clients every single week on the same day. And what you can do is, like, let's say you have 10 clients right now. You're gonna call all of them. They're probably not all gonna answer, and this will take you maybe an hour. You're just gonna connect with them, build a relationship. It's like, listen, outside, this is where you're at in the transaction. This is the next step. How's your day going? What do you have planned for the holidays? What's going on? Tell me about your kids. What's going on? Like, get to know them. Build a relationship with them so you can actually ask referrals. Okay, and then you're gonna call your past clients. You can even do a letter or 2 a week, which means like you can do A's, B's, and maybe C's today. Even if you have 500 past clients, if you do A's and B's this week, what I'm trying to say is that like you could easily get through, I don't care how many leads you have or how many past clients you have, you're gonna be able to get through all of your past clients over the course of a year, a couple times a year. Just don't wanna hit them like once or twice, maybe 3 times in your past clients. Stay top of mind, you gotta be in touch with them, okay? Because what's gonna happen is it's gonna be like an 80-20, where like 20% of your past clients are actually gonna be responsive and be a part of your life for quite some time, and 80% of them are just not. But that's up to you to do. Let's just, now let's move all that off the table. Now let's take professional partners, past clients, and current clients off the table for a second. We're just gonna talk about cold leads. leads. Number one is increase the frequency. So instead of one time a month, you can do it twice a month. Or you can increase the amount of modes of communication that you use to follow up with somebody. So I would recommend the following. That if you have a lead who says, call me back in 90 days, you're gonna do the following. You're gonna call them back in 30 days, and you're gonna call them, leave a voicemail, send a text. And you can also send them an email. And what you're gonna say to them in the email is like, let me preface the fact that like, I'm gonna be calling and then leaving a voicemail. This is, they did not answer. Hey John, this is Henry with EXP Realty. Hope you and the family are doing fantastic. I'm just reaching out as I promised I would. I know you're not looking to do anything for 60 more days or you're waiting until X month. I just wanted to give you a quick call just to check in to see how you and the family are doing. Hope all is well, and I also wanted to wish you a happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving, happy this, happy that. Have a wonderful rest of your day and looking forward to connecting with you soon. 30 seconds or less. Don't make it crazy. I wanted to give you a quick call like I promised I would, and I wanted to just confirm your plans, which is like, I know last time we spoke, you had the plans of doing X, Y, and Z in X time frame, and I wanted to see if that was still a part of the game plan. That's all you're doing. You can say that each and every single freaking month, and if they say call me back in 30 days, you can call them back in 2 weeks and say the same thing. What often happens is that people take people too literally, and what ends up happening is that the realtor, John, calls up Sally, the lead, and says, hey Sally, it's been 30, you forgot to follow up with them, so it's like, hey Sally, it's actually been 45 days. I'm making things up, guys, for a second, okay? She said call you back in 30 days. You call her back 45 days later, and she go, hey, I already listed the house. You told me to call you back. Like I did. Well, you called back too late because most people don't follow up. Or what ends up happening is you call back in 30 days and they did it a week or two before, right? Because some other realtor was able to set an appointment because you took them too literally. Just because someone says, call me back, I'm not looking to do something in 30 days doesn't mean they won't do something in 21. This is a very, very important part to pay attention to. But now, I called John. I left him a message. He saw the missed call. He sees the voicemail. I'm going to send John the same exact thing via text message and via email just to make sure he got it. Hey John, this is a text message. Hey John, it's Henry with EXP Realty. Hope you're doing fantastic. Just wanted to reach out like I promised I would. I just wanted to confirm because last time we spoke, you said you were looking to sell your property in February, and I wanted to see if that was still part of the game plan. And they're going to respond to you saying, hey Henry, yeah, I'm still looking to do something in February. Thank you so much for reaching out. We'll talk soon. Or they're going to say, no, my plans have changed. I'm not looking to sell in February. I'm actually looking to sell in January now. Or I'm not looking to sell in February. I'm actually not looking to sell at all anymore. Things have changed. Do you understand how this makes sense? Where now you can get faster answers. And by the way, this is if they see your call, your voicemail, now your text message, and you're gonna say the same thing via freaking email, okay? Right, where you're gonna say the same exact thing. It's like, hey John, it's Henry with EXP Realty. I just tried you via call and text message. Just wanted to reach out to you like I promised I would. I also just wanted to see if, I know you're not looking to sell your property until February like we discussed. I just wanted to see if that was still part of the game plan for 2023. I hope you and the family are well and have a fantastic holiday season. That's it, guys. Like, don't overcomplicate it. Now you gave him a missed call on notification on his phone. They got a voicemail, they got a text message, and they got an email. You just hit them 4 different ways in different follow-ups. 80% of all sales are done after the what? 5th contact, and you just did 4. So again, I'm trying to get as fast as I possibly can to 12 because most sales are done between 12 to 15 times every single time. Not physically touch, I meant like reach out. Whether, again, call, text, email, social media, handwritten note, smoke signal, I don't care how you're getting in touch with these freaking people, but the point is I'm trying to make here is that get in touch with them anytime. Touch between you and that client is just going to enhance your ability to close. So also when it comes to follow-up, the biggest thing I can also relate back to, increasing your conversions is also going to be making sure on every single call you close for an appointment. Every single call. What's fascinating is that a lot of you, what they do is that you have 20 conversations, but you don't actually close 20 times. On 20 conversations, I will close for an appointment 20 times, right? Like there is no point in having a conversation without setting an appointment. And the lead generation for residential, and yes, you can argue it's a little bit different in the commercial world because it just kind of depends, but if you're just like focused on seller business, let's just call a spade a spade. All you're trying to do is set an appointment. I don't care what side of the coin you're on, residential, commercial, you're calling for an appointment. And if you don't close for an appointment, each and every single call, I'm telling you, you are wasting time. Every single call, you're not only going to track the amount of conversations, like we talked about tracking your metrics, but you're going to track how many times did you actually go for the close. And you can just circle it. If you went for the close, circle it. And if you didn't circle all 20 conversations that you had that you logged down, you probably should go back and check your work because I'm telling you, you're missing out on opportunities. Also, to increase your conversion, one last thing I'm going to say is get a CRM system that has like a text campaign and an email campaign built into them. It is gold to have that implemented with your leads, where like not only are you calling them, but you have an automatic campaign that goes out that sends them text messages and emails on top of the fact that you're calling them all the time. It is absolutely necessary where if you want to make big money, things need to be automated because you're not going to be able to follow up with thousands and thousands and thousands of leads by yourself. You're just not going to be able to do that. So if without support from a system and or a team, you're really going to fall short, right? This is why you need to have a system, a process, and a team around you of people who can support you, right? Which again, we'll get to in this process. So the last thing that I want to touch on when it comes to sales is the fact that if you do not treat networking like sales, where you need to be prospecting for new people all the time, you're going to fall fall short of a lot of your goals, right? Because we talked about professional partners, and I talked about briefly touching on the fact that like you need to make it a part of your business to go out and prospect. You have to make it a point to go out and network and add to your professional partners list. This is incredibly crucial to your business, where just like we've talked about, you're spend time prospecting, you're gonna spend time going out and networking 1 day a week, 2 days a week, whatever it's going to be. You want to make sure, again, you are spending time adding to your network and mastering the relationship aspect of real estate. I assure you that if you want to make a lot of money in this business, you're going to have to create a lot of relationships that last. Because if you're going to spend your entire rest of your career constantly having to get new relationships and new clients forever and always, it is going to be exhausting to be in this business. That's why like I love drilling down on my relationships. Where like I like having a lot of great people that I get to spend time with who refer me business. We all make a lot of money together. I mean, how else would you like to have fun in this business? All just making a lot of money together with good people who all like making more money. That's a great opportunity. We all treat our clients great. I mean, like guys, it's a win-win-win-win. That's what it's all about. I urge you to increase your conversation numbers. I urge you to increase the number of leads that you're gonna try to get on a daily basis. The point I'm trying to make though is that the magic is in the conversion ratios. That's where the magic is. Because if you can enhance your conversions at each little pivot point, from call to conversation, from conversation to lead, from lead to appointment set, from appointment set to appointment conducted, from appointment conducted to contract signed, from contract signed to contract closed, if you can enhance the conversion ratios on each of those points, you are going to make a lot more money than your competition who's not paying attention to that. I hope this is making sense because that was freaking gold for you guys. It can be that simple, guys. It can be that simple, I promise. All right, guys, listen, we went over a lot of stuff. So again, make sure again you watch this entire module over again. You took a lot of notes and you take massive levels of action. The script book is down below, and all the objection handlers you're going to possibly need is also down below. Make sure you download both of them and you take full advantage of everything in this module. And let's go out there, make some money, and I'll see you in the next module. Take care. If you're getting massive value out of this video and you want to work with me personally, make sure you check out the first link in the description down below and schedule your free consultation with myself and my team.